Hello, everybody. This is Michael Andrews, host of About Your Money Radio, with your life insurance tip of the day. I'm gonna give you some basic stuff, and I want you to, get the research yourself. Do some research and find out what's best for you. And if you want to talk to someone, you can give us a call, 916-238-8282. More than happy to answer any questions you might have concerning today's topic, college savings. Now, like I said, I'm going to be real quick with this and to the point. But there's a lot of information out there, a lot of financial noise is what I call it. Many people have asked us, Michael, what do you recommend for college savings? And I'm gonna tell you, first thing I ask is, well, how old is your child or your children? When I hear 12, 15, I'm like, do you have anything saved? No. Forget about it. I mean, you're pretty much too late to have any real significant college savings, especially nowadays with college being the cost that it is. It's really just crazy nowadays. As parents, we're hoping and praying, whatever you believe, that our children will do well to get a scholarship, full ride. Now, many people are hearing about 529 plans. You have a lot of advisors out there that would say, hey, 529 is the best way. And you don't hear of all you hear is pros. You don't hear the cons of that. And then some will say life insurance, and you don't always hear all of it, all the information that you need to make a well-informed decision. Well, I'm going to give you the comparison between the two, and then you decide on what's best for you, okay? Now, when it comes to the 529 plan, what I'm going to talk about, my first comparison will be tax advantages. Yeah, see, in anything that you do, when it comes to financial planning, retirement planning, you want to understand the back end. What's the exit strategy? What's my tax plan? And many people don't even understand that or even think about it. And a lot of advisors don't think about it as well. They just tell you, oh, you get a tax deduction and you get taxed later. Well, what's the tax rate going to be later in 20 years? I don't know. You know what I mean? So you want to ask questions. Nowadays, in fact, as of today, take a look here. Take a look at that. You're like, what is that? Well, that's $20+ trillion of debt that our government has. That's real stuff. That's a real number. And it grows every day. In fact, it's grown since we've had it up here. It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop at all. And so you look at our debt as a country versus the revenue that's coming in, we're not really taking care of the interest. So I tell people to really be mindful of putting all your eggs in one basket. And you want to be diversified. Many wealthy people, they're well diversified. They have a portfolio of mixed products where it's indexed, it's fixed, then you have your variable stuff so that if anything happens, they're just protected. Whereas middle class or lower, they're just told about, one thing. Put your money in qualified plans, and that's it. And you have other options, believe it or not. You really do. So I won't get into all that, but let's talk about the tax advantages of the 529 plan and life insurance. And I'm going to go over just a few comparisons. And if you follow the podcast, the podcast went into a little more detail at aboutyourmoneyradio.com. Okay, so let's take a look here. You'll see that as a tax advantage, the 529 plans are funded with after-tax federal income dollars. Your money is basically, it grows tax deferred and it comes out basically, later on. And you're able to have, it's free from federal tax, as you can see there. And in some states, it allows you to have a deduction depending upon what your state is. So I encourage you to take a look at the state, just simply do an internet search and type in the tax advantages for whatever state you happen to be in. But look at permanent life insurance. As you see already, that permanent life insurance plans are funded with after federal income tax dollars. Your money grows tax deferred, and withdrawals taken out as policy loans are tax free as long as the policy remains in force. Permanent life plan cash values earnings also accumulate on tax deferred basis, and if managed properly via withdrawals and loans, it can be basically 100% tax free. As some of my colleagues say, my CPA friends and enrolled agents, they can't stand the term tax free. They hate it. So I say, well, tax advantaged. They go, yeah, that's better. I go, but what's the advantage? It's not tax, right? So that means tax free. So the thing is, just having some humor here. The thing is, you must understand with everything, any vehicle you drive, financial vehicle, physical vehicle, there are rules when it comes to driving that vehicle. And if you don't understand the rules or understand how to maneuver this vehicle, or have an advisor that doesn't know how to do it, then guess what? You're going to crash and wreck yourself. And so I find that when you look at a 529 plan, it has some advantages, but when it comes to taxation, well, I do like, as a parent, I would like the fact that my access is non-taxed. And my question then would be, in fact, let's go back to this, look at it. It goes back to say, as long as the policy remains in force, let's stop right there. You'll have some pundits who are against permanent life insurance say, oh, they want to build fear around that part right there. When in fact, if you understand the tax law, understand the IRS guidelines and how it's supposed to be structured in the first place, then there isn't a worry. If you have an advisor who understands the IRS guidelines, is what I said. Now, I won't get into all that. In fact, I will. If anyone, I've said this many times on our podcast, anyone who is against permanent life insurance, if you ask them this one question, and if you're a consumer, you should ask them this question. And if you're an advisor, you need to know the answer to this question. But what is the Tax Equity and Fiscal Responsibility Act? It's an IRS guideline. It's a law, actually. It came out in 1982. I'm going to let you do some internet searching on it, especially if you're an advisor. If you are against permanent life insurance and you don't understand just that one tax law, you really should rethink having any opinion about permanent life insurance if you don't understand the law that governs how it should be structured in the first place. Take a look here. Contribution limits. As you see here, I'm in California, so in California, your contributions can continue until all balances in the plan for the same beneficiary reach $475,000. If once you get to that level, then you can't put any more money. In fact, if you try to put another dollar in, chances are they're going to basically kick that dollar back to you. You're done. Whereas, similar to 529 plans you see here, they have certain contribution limits, particularly in the first 7 years of the policy. However, most life plan contribution limits can be structured to exceed the 529 plan limits. Yeah. And you're not limited to the lifetime limit plan, the lifetime limit of the 529 plan. So when it comes to contribution limits, you can, with a permanent life insurance contract that's properly structured according to the IRS tax law, actually can exceed the limitations of 529 plans. Yeah, it's true. A lot of wealthy families, they use life insurance, permanent life insurance, for college planning and retirement planning and estate planning. And you have to just know that. That's the fact. So let's go into another comparison. As you can see right here, I'm just going to go into the financial aid impact. Take a look here. 529 plans are included in the calculation of parents' assets, family contributions as it relates to a student applying for federal financial aid for college. Let me just break that down. When it comes to your child applying for college, they want to see all of your assets, all of it. What's in your bank, what's in your savings, what's in your 401k, what's in your IRA, what's in your 529 plan. They want to see all of that to determine what type of federal aid or benefit they will give your child or children. Now, life insurance, let's take a look here. Life insurance values are not included in the federal methodology for calculating financial aid. So you will not be penalized for saving for college. So they don't look at the cash value of life insurance in their calculation. Why? Because it's life insurance. At the end of the day, it's life insurance. If it happens to have some cash value to it, hey, great. But they don't utilize the calculation. They don't look at that. If you have $500,000 in cash value, they don't look at that at all. So if you just had that for your child, they're not looking at that. And who gets a higher benefit? Your child, as a result, versus the child who has the 529 plan. You see? So there's some things there which you can, I'm just giving some basic stuff here. I'm going over this real quick to give you an idea what can be done. I'm going to give you a link to all of this so you can see even other comparisons to this as well. Now, my last comparison, take a look at this. ability to be used for colleges outside the United States. What does the 529 plan say? 529 plans can only be withdrawn without a penalty for use at accredited colleges by the U.S. Department of Education. Versus the permanent life insurance option, there are no restrictions. None at all. So if your child gets accepted at some university in Europe, South America, wherever the case may be, then you're fine with permanent life insurance. You can take those funds out and use it however you see fit. Now, let me just paint this picture, because there have been times where a child says, hey, they don't need the money. They have a scholarship, they have a full ride. Mom, Dad, I don't need this money that you had in the 529 plan. What are you going to do? It can only be used for educational expenses. What are you going to do? You're going to go back to school? So, because any money you take out now, it's going to be taxed and it's going to be penalized over and above anything that you're not using for educational expenses. Versus a life insurance planning option, let's say Johnny or whoever doesn't need the money, but maybe you can now take that same policy. You can actually make that child the owner of the policy after they graduate, and that could be their retirement plan. That can be their jumpstart to getting a home. Do you see where I'm going with this? So you have families who structure things the right way. They have options later on down the road without penalty or taxation. And who gets a jump on in life? Who has minimal student debt? Who has the ability to maybe have funds to start a business or buy their first home? You see where I'm going with this? So the things in which you do now can benefit you greatly later on in life if it's done properly. And so, 529 plan has its place. In my opinion, depending upon the situation, life insurance could be a better bet for someone who's looking for better options. It's not for everyone. It's for those who want to be outside of the box, if you will. And so I would definitely, welcome any questions you might have to see if this is ideal for you. Give you an illustration, an actual example. Grandfather called us and he says, "Hey, Mike, guess what? My next grandson has been born." I'm like, "Fantastic, man! Congratulations! You know what we have to do, right?" And he goes, "That's why I'm calling. I want you to come by next week. Let's have a sit down. I'm going to have, the kids here and this and that and the other. Let's have a sit down and meet so that we can go ahead and structure the college plan." Now, the child's a newborn, and you can see here, rather than give toys, every year, the family plans to everyone, uncle, aunts, whoever, grandparents, they're putting in money into this insurance policy on an annual basis. Everyone's chipping in $25, $50, whatever, on an annual basis, and it's growing over the course of 18 years. And who has options? Yeah, that child has some major options. So just look at that. A 529 plan compared to life insurance. Now people said, in fact, I got an email, "Michael, there are those who are against permanent life insurance and they want to invoke fear." And I said, well, yeah, in fact, typically you will hear something to the effect of, I heard one agent, and we were just talking, they were promoting 529, and I said, well, life insurance might be ideal. Let's take a look at this. First thing out their mouth is, well, you get a commission. I go, well, you do too. So please don't bring that as a fear component to the client, because that's not going to work. Let's look at the mechanism and how it works compared to the tax law. They go, what do you mean? I go, well, let's do that. So everyone's uniquely different. This may not even work for you. If you have any questions, just give me a call, 916-238-8282, 916-238-8282 to answer your questions, because this is some basic stuff. Just wanted to share it with you. It's your life insurance tip of the day. Take care. Have a great rest of your day, all right? We look forward to hearing from you. Bye for now.